Philip had always considered himself a lucky man. At 38, he had it all: a thriving career in IT, a beautiful wife named Marina, and two wonderful children, Max, 11, and Anna, 9. Marina worked at a top consulting firm and frequently traveled for business, attending conferences and meetings. To Philip, life seemed perfect, the kind of life that many envied. But over the past few months, something started to shift. Marina, once the loving wife who made their house a home, had grown distant. She spent more time on her phone, worked late into the night, and her usual warmth seemed to fade. Philip initially brushed it off as stress from her demanding job, especially since her company was undergoing major restructuring. But as her absences became more frequent, his suspicions began to grow. One evening, Marina announced that she would be going to Chicago for another business trip. "Another marketing conference?" Philip asked, trying to sound casual while stirring his coffee. "Yes," Marina replied without looking up from her tablet. "It's boring, but it's mandatory. The company insists on it." Her tone was too rehearsed, too perfect. Something didn't feel right. Philip's mind began racing. Could she be lying? That evening, as Marina packed her bags for the trip, Philip made a decision that would change everything. He quickly opened his laptop and booked a room at the Hyatt Regency, the same hotel where Marina would be staying. He wasn't sure what he was going to find, but he knew he needed to know the truth. "I'm going to visit my parents this weekend," Philip said over breakfast. "Dad needs help fixing the roof." "That's great, honey," Marina replied, still distracted by her phone. "Will you drop the kids at Nina's?" "Of course. Nina will love it." Philip drove Marina to the airport with a cold kiss goodbye. Something about it didn't sit right with him. After dropping the kids off, he boarded a flight to Chicago. The hotel was impressive: 4 stars, a grand lobby with marble columns, and attentive staff. Philip checked in under an alias he used for work trips and went up to his room on the 7th floor. Marina was expected later in the evening. He decided to wait before making any rash moves. If his suspicions were wrong, he could go back to his life. No harm done. But if they were true, he needed to be prepared. At 9 to 7 p.m., Philip went downstairs and sat by the lobby, pretending to read a newspaper. His heart pounded as he waited. Around 9:30 p.m., Marina appeared, looking chic in her grey suit. She walked up to the desk, and Philip leaned in, trying to overhear her conversation with the receptionist. But he couldn't make out the words. She received her room key and headed toward the elevator. Philip waited 5 minutes, then approached the front desk. "Excuse me," he said casually. "I'm here for the conference, and I lost the contact info for my colleague. Do you have her room number?" "Sokolova, Marina Vladimirovna?" the receptionist asked. "Yes," Philip confirmed. The receptionist typed into the computer. "Room 328, 3rd floor." Philip nodded, his heart sinking. Everything checked out. But why was he feeling so uneasy? The next day, Philip took a walk around the conference areas, but found nothing related to marketing. Instead, there was a sign for a corporate seminar hosted by a company called Northern Technologies. His suspicions deepened. Around noon, he saw Marina emerge from the elevator with a tall man in a sharp suit. They were laughing and talking animatedly as they walked out of the hotel together. Philip followed them discreetly. They got into a sleek BMW and drove off, only returning late that evening, hand in hand. Everything fell into place. His wife was having an affair, but Philip needed solid proof. The next day, while Marina was attending her so-called conference, Philip took a risk. He found a company ID card in her purse and snuck into her hotel room. His heart raced as he entered. the weight of what he was doing weighing heavily on him. In the bathroom, tucked inside her makeup bag, Philip found what he had feared, a pack of condoms. 3 years ago, Philip had undergone a vasectomy for medical reasons, and Marina knew about it. The evidence was undeniable. He took a picture of the condoms and carefully put everything back. Philip's mind was racing with thoughts of revenge, but he decided to wait. This wasn't the time for hasty actions. He wanted to make sure Marina knew exactly what she had done. A week later, Philip suggested they go out for dinner, a rare occasion. "It's been a while since we've had a night out," he said, keeping his tone casual. "The kids are with your sister this weekend." Marina agreed, though without much enthusiasm. That Saturday night, they went to the Metropolitan, one of the finest restaurants in town. The dinner was tense. Philip kept trying to engage Marina in conversation, but his thoughts kept drifting back to the evidence he had found. Marina seemed distracted, often glancing at her phone. Then, as if by fate, the man from the hotel, the one Marina had been with, walked up to their table. "Marina, what a surprise," he said, flashing a wide smile. Marina stiffened, but quickly regained her composure. "Chris, this is my husband, Philip. Philip, this is Chris Anderson. We worked together on a project for Northern Technologies." "Pleasure to meet you," Chris said, shaking Philip's hand. "Your wife is a real professional. We made great progress on the project in Chicago." Philip's blood boiled inside, but he managed to smile. "Join us for dinner," Philip offered, keeping his voice even. "Thanks, but I'm not alone. My wife is in the restroom. She'll be back soon." A few moments later, a stunning woman walked up to their table. "This is my wife, Jenna," Chris said. "And this is Marina, and her husband." "Philip," Philip said, standing up. Jenna smiled politely, but Philip could sense the discomfort in her eyes. After dinner, Philip excused himself and went back to the restaurant under the pretense of forgetting something. Jenna was still sitting at the table, sipping her coffee. "Mind if I sit down?" Philip asked. "Of course," Jenna said, looking up with tired eyes. "You know, don't you?" Philip asked quietly. Jenna nodded slowly. "I've known for 6 months. How about you?" "Just a week," Philip replied. "I went to Chicago, saw them together. I hired a private investigator. I have photos, videos, everything." Philip felt a strange relief wash over him. He wasn't alone in this. "What are you going to do?" "I'm divorcing him. And you?" "Same. But I want it to be fair." Jenna met his eyes, her expression serious. "You have any ideas?" "I have a few," Philip said, his determination growing. "What do you think about teaming up?" A few weeks later, Philip and Jenna teamed up to gather the final pieces of evidence. Together, they exposed both Marina and Chris for what they had done. The final blow came when Marina tried to get an abortion in secret, but Philip intervened, forcing her to confront the consequences of her actions. Philip and Jenna eventually remarried, their bond strengthened by the pain they had both endured. The children embraced their new family, and together they found peace and trust again. Meanwhile, Marina and Chris were left to pick up the pieces of their broken lives.